back to Alaska Schoolhouse. It's so good to have you back here. Today we just wanted to take a couple minutes and talk to you about the importance of reading.
And as you guys saw in the clips, we have been working on a really special project to make reading more fun this upcoming school year. And so you guys are going to see the finished product in just a minute. But first we wanted to share the importance of reading and what it means to each one of our families. Because I think we both agree that it is one of the most important things that we do in our homeschool and education.
Yes. So in my homeschool, that is, like Simone said, one of the most important things that we do. We always enjoyed reading. Ever since my kids were little, we always sat down and we were reading so many different books. And even until this day, with Emily going into high school, we still enjoy our mornings and evenings sometimes when we just sit down, and sometimes I just read out loud to them and, you know, just to go through the different books and just to share stories together. And sometimes even after a couple of years when we go somewhere and things just pop in our mind, oh, do you remember that was in the book? Or just an inside joke comes up, you know, and it's just so nice. It's just so nice family memories that we're making. It's almost like it shapes our homeschool and family life, you know?
I think it's because when you read, it opens up your eyes to the world around you. Because you can experience the world through eyes from people that live in different places of the world, that have a different upbringing. And so we cannot travel throughout the whole world, but through reading we have all that exposure to history, different cultures, different geographics, and I think experiencing life experiences together as a family, I think that just creates a very strong bond.
And it opens up a whole new world to your kids as well. Yeah, that's why we still love to, even though with all the technology, we still love to go to the library and just pick out the books. Because you know what? I don't know about you, but there is just something about a book, how it feels like, how, you know, just
to have it in your hands.
Yes. I always enjoy that very much, even though I tried Kindle and, you know, Nook and all those things, and that is fine.
And they have their place when traveling and things like that.
Absolutely. Or at night when my husband wants to go to sleep and I can just swipe the pages instead of having a nightstand, you know, the light on. But there's just something about a book.
And I think there's something really cool too about, we read this book and you put it on your bookshelf and you get to see all the books that you have read.
Yes.
We love that very much. Not all of them, but some of the really special ones that meant a lot to us.
Yeah.
We like to keep them and even reread them or readdress them sometimes.
And once when you pull them out of the shelf again, it's almost like those feelings and those emotions all come back again.
And there's a certain time and memories that your family was going through at that time. Like sometimes we read something and it reminds us, oh, remember when we were reading this and this and this was going on through their life. Or, oh, remember we read this book when we went camping and we're reading it by the fire, you know. And later when those books, which a lot of them are classic books that we read, and they read them again in high school, and maybe later they talk about it in college, or they use quotes from certain books, and they're going to remember that for the rest of their life.
Absolutely.
So it has an incredible value for family time. And one of our favorite people that talks about reading aloud is the Reading Aloud Revival by Mackenzie. She's such a sweet mom and woman.
Sarah Mackenzie.
I think so.
Yeah.
And she's such a sweetheart. We have talked to her before, and she even made the time to get back with us. And she has that same passion. And so for little kids, she has amazing resources for that as well. So that would be a great resource for you guys to check out. We can put the link below too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but besides the great value that it has on family time, I think academically there is just worlds of benefits that it has. Not only does it broaden your worldview and understanding of how the world works, but it allows you to increase your vocabulary, right? Like Amy, going into high school, she's always been a really strong reader. Her vocabulary and communication skills are just incredible. And that comes from reading.
Absolutely. Yeah.
from reading different literatures. And
Absolutely. Another important aspect of reading books is also to shape your character, or to shape the children's characters, because sometimes, they have certain things that they struggle with. And even though I feel like the kids can always come to us and talk to us, but maybe that's something embarrassing or something that really bothers them and they don't feel comfortable yet to talk about it. But just to have that really, those really good classical literature, and maybe that character is going through the same thing, and they can see, oh, how do they handle this? How do
and
they
I'm
do
not
this?
and I'm not alone in this.
Yes.
Maybe they even come and talk to you, but it's different if your mom tells you this and this is, what's going on, or this is how you could handle it. But seeing how somebody else fought through it shows them like, okay,
Yeah.
I can get through this if that person goes through it. And
Because I know one of the series that really helped my children in developing their character was the
Lamplighter.
Lamplighter.
We will put those down below too. Amazing company, Lamplighter.
Because even after we read it, like a couple months later, Emily came and she said, you know what, that book really helped me. And I had no idea that she struggled with certain things,
Right. It helped Amy through, like she struggled with selfishness, and it really, when she saw black and white in front of her, like, this is what this person is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, I don't want to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they really learned, they're all faith-based, learned how to use scripture to fight, the sin in our lives and get rid of them.
And even though sometimes they cannot really remember, oh, what was that exactly about, they can pull it off the shelf and reread it.
Yes.
A television show is harder to do this, or if they read something on the internet, good luck finding that one again. But that is, a book is something that you can hold on to and has a certain value in your life that you can pass on to your children as well.
And I think too, because you do focus on the actual moral of the story and you do not get distracted with a lot of visuals, I think it makes it deeper. I think the depth of working in your character is just so much more than if you would just watch a movie.
Yeah, and
where there's so much going on and you get distracted. You can create your own visions of what this person is really going through, and you can put yourself into that character. And I feel like you can't do that with movies or anything like that.
No, and even just your imagination or your kids' imagination with a movie, they kind of tell you this is how that person looks like, this is it, There's not a lot of things to think about or to develop for yourself. Mm-hmm. But a book is just a whole different story. That's why so many times when you read a book and then you watch the movie, I was so disappointed
and
because
I'm like,
I
really?
pictured them differently.
Yes. And we do have both in our family. We do the read aloud time, and then we also do individual reading. So it is lovely to do both. And this one right here is the more creative one. So she told me a long time ago, like, oh, my kids just draw or do this and this while I read, because you know how those boys are. They're, sitting still for 5 minutes and they start like fidgeting,
wiggling
bouncing,
the whole time.
and they're like tapping or drumming. So since we started doing that, it's like not only do they do like an art project, they can actually, I think that boys can actually pay attention better when they're doing some drawings or something like that at the same time.
A lot of reading is done in my family, and I know in yours too, especially in the summertime. So right now, we are working through the whole Lord of the Rings series. And normally what we do during the summertime, when we read a lot, I always buy my kids the paint by numbers. Mm-hmm. And that keeps them busy, and they're just focusing. And the great thing is they combine the picture with the book. So even though they look at the picture years ago, they were like, oh, I remember we were reading that book. We were doing this thing. So just to keep them busy. That's very important, especially those boys.
Yeah, you have to keep them in line.
Yeah.
So reading, and reading. It is so important.
There was a quote that that somebody told me years ago. And it said, because she is a book lover, and she has like a whole library full of books. And the quote said, I have lived 1,000 lives.
Oh,
At first it took me a while to really comprehend that, but I think that is so cool because You know,
It is.
you get to live different lives. You get to see things through other people's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And to walk a little bit in their shoes.
And at different times
Yeah.
of the world history, you
And
know.
how cool is that?
That is amazing. I remember when we were reading the Bronze Bow with the kids, and that was during a time when Jesus walked on earth, and that was amazing. And the kids would never put themselves like, oh wow, this is really, so it brings like everything alive, and they can really relate to it. We love that, right? I mean, that was fantastic. Just still talk about this today.
Yeah.
And that made them want to be bold and courageous, and all those characteristic traits that are so important for our kids to have. They see other kids go through that, and other youth and other adults, and I just love it. Love everything about it.
Absolutely.
So last year in our co-op we introduced the IW program, Teaching the Classics. Again, we'll put it down below for you guys. And it was incredible. It taught the kids that reading is so important. I think they really appreciated at that time that, wow, this is a gift. And one of the first books that we read, and this curriculum teaches how to do the whole story chart, all the way from the introduction to the climax and to the conclusion, and everything in between, the theme, the
to map it
plot,
out.
to kind of map it out. And we asked them to do that for every book that they read, so they can really truly understand how literature is put together. But one of the first books that we did this with was Fahrenheit
451.
Yes, and that was amazing, because I don't think they ever really realized what a gift reading is.
Yeah, and books are.
Yeah, and that opened their eyes. They're like, wow, not everybody has books. And when we went to the Dominican Republic again, there's no books. You know, that's just not available. And the insight that we have into the whole world, because we get to read whatever we want. We have no limitation whatsoever.
No. And even if you can't make it to the library, you have an app, you know.
You can have an app for that too, yeah.
Where you can just,
We have everything at our hands, and
we don't use it.
Yeah. I just pray that we can raise a generation that sees reading as a gift and an opportunity to truly increase their worldview and be able to see truth and see what is not truth, and develop that character that they need to have in order to change this world. So with that, I guess it is time to reveal what we have been working on. And we're actually super excited because it is going to just perfectly complete our homeschool room this year.
And that's a super simple project. So you
can
even do it at home.
And it was super cheap too.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any questions about it at all, we'd be happy to tell you how to do it and how not to do it.
Yes.
Because there was a couple of ups and downs in that one.
Yes. Yes. So the thought process was to build a Readbox for our children.
So rather than them focusing on movies times in the winter time, and we know Alaskan winters are very long, we did a Readbox.
Instead of a Readbox.
I know. So ours have 3 shelves. Like, I have 3 kids, so it works out perfect. And everybody's going to have a shelf with their books that we would like for them or encourage them to read throughout the school year. Classics, and we'd be happy to share books that we have read and really valued. If you guys are interested in it, or if you have any questions, we'd be happy to help you research in that area as well. And
or if you have some great recommendations for us, we would love to hear it.
Yes, so we can accumulate something for all of us to be able to use together. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, and so, I'm super excited. The kids were so excited too, because it's just something special.
Time to reveal our project.
Okay, thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah.
Counting it all joy.